Dr. Seuss has been canceled, y'all. I repeat, Dr. Seuss has been canceled. We're done here. That's the episode. I don't need to say any more. No, I can't leave you on that. I can't leave you on that. We're going to have a discussion on this good old cancel culture. Is it going too far? Was Dr. Seuss racist, or are we just all too sensitive? We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the dangers of cancel culture and the solution. I'm very excited for this episode. Let's get into it. What's up? What's up? Another day leveled up. It's your boy Salem, back with another one for you. Okay. Cancel culture. Before we get into it, I'm going to light one up for Dr. Seuss. For you guys that aren't not watching me, this is Palo Santo. I'm not lighting up nothing. No, making sure I'm not lighting this microphone. All right, let's get into it. One for the homie Seuss. All right, so Dr. Seuss has been canceled. I don't think I will forget about this. I can't say I saw this coming. I want to know who's checking to make sure Dr. Seuss is on his P's and Q's. Why are we going back in the past to check if people were thinking about us? Is that selfish? Is that us being too ego driven and making sure that everyone else should keep in mind our thoughts and how we feel? Think about us when they make a statement, when they decide to write a book. Make sure they do all their thorough research of the world so they don't come off insensitive. I don't want to do that. I hope you guys don't think I'm going to be doing that. That's the surefire way to not be happy. That's the surefire way to not even please anyone. You're not here just to please everyone. You're here to live a good life. And while doing it, inspire others to do the same. But you're not here to just get rid of all your wants, desires, what makes you feel good to make sure everyone else feels good. You're here for more than that. Dr. Seuss has been removed from the National Read Across America program. It's been taken out of libraries. You can't even buy it on eBay right now. There's 6 books. I'm not sure exactly, but I don't care to really check which ones because I'm sure they weren't how they were perceived. That was not their intention. It does me no good to go check and be like, you know what? Let me go see if Seuss was really coming after me. No, it's not necessary. I think where we have it wrong is that we're insensitive to the other person's lack of awareness for future norms. Why should we assume that everyone else knows exactly what we're going through, knows exactly my race, where I've came from, that they're going to structure it in a way that is easily digestible for me? That's selfish on our part to assume that we are that important. We're important in our own lives, but we're not as important as we think to everyone else. I'm going to read to you this little quote from one of my favorite books, The Fifth Agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz. So this quote says, "Now it's easy to understand why there's so much conflict between humans. The world is populated by billions of dreamers who aren't aware that people are living in their own world, dreaming their own dream, from the point of view of the main character, which is their only point of view. Everything is all about them. When the secondary characters say something that doesn't agree with their point of view, they get angry and they try to defend their position. They want the secondary characters to be the way that they want them to be. And if they are not, they feel very hurt. They take everything personally. With this awareness, you could also understand the solution. And it's something so simple and logical. Don't take anything personally. Now, I hope that sunk in. We could always say don't take things personally, but most of the time when we say that to others, we're actually telling them to let us live our lives and you live yours. We don't expect the same treatment. If someone tells us that, we're like, no, that's personal though. But we could tell others don't take it personal. But when it comes to us, we're like, nah, that's personal now. It's personal. This is the easiest way to be controlled is by emotion. If someone could actually get to you, know what buttons to push, you are controlled. Simple as that. So let's talk about what cancel culture is actually doing. It's treating people to never accept an apology, to assume that the person was malicious with their intent, even though they weren't even, maybe even on the mind of the person. Cancel culture doesn't even want a discussion. And what is it doing to the rest of America, the world? It's treating people that they should be fearful to have an opinion because there's a threat of being canceled. Cancel culture is winning right now because people forgot how to say, I forgive you. That's the proper way to mend any discussion, is apologize and admit that you were wrong, but they don't even want that. They just want the sense of power that they get when they could just cancel someone, so they think. We might as well be on the playground teasing people, not wanting a discussion, not even capable of having a discussion to mend whatever you feel may have triggered you. When has everyone become our enemy? Who even wins in the end? Do you win once that person's canceled? Do you win in your head to be like, all right, I never see them on my feed again. I feel a lot better. Thank you. Canceled. What? How old are we? How ridiculous is it for us to think that we could cancel someone and try to get everyone else to hate this person? We have institutions, companies, schools banding together with cancel culture because they're fearful of being canceled, living in fear to voice an opinion. There's literally no way in hell that they could all agree on this one person's assumption, perspective. It's literally impossible. It's important to stand up when there's a threat of a cancel, when there's cancel culture trying to bubble up and take over like the way we live our lives. The internet literally has more control over politicians' words these days. You are in the hands of the internet, the media, Twitter. What do they call them? Like Twitter fingers? Like, people are scared because they value their reputation more than anything these days. And who even orders these code reds to send out hits to people on the internet? Like, who is in charge? It's something to think about. Like, who's the one who started this? Something I think about. I feel what's really going on is like a social experiment. A social experiment to see how just a mere thought could be sent out and casted out into the internet, Twitter, whatever it is, of something defiling someone's reputation, their human being, and see how many people jump on board to hate this person, to see how many times it triggers someone, to see how many times people are so sensitive, so emotional to carry out an act of hate. Who knows what it could bubble into? All these cancel cultures are pushed by someone trying to explain to you why you need to hate this person. I just seen right now they're trying to cancel Kirk Franklin because he got into an argument with his son. That is a relationship with father and son, and his son was a snowflake enough to record his dad yelling at him to try to get more clout? What could be the real reason for you to record your mom or dad and put it on the internet? You want some sympathy. You're trying to get clout. Bad publicity is good publicity these days, and people just want to be talked about. The sad thing is, people just want to be talked about. And you have this dude, Kirk Franklin, who's trying to live a righteous life, and he's human as well. He's gonna fall. He's a sinner. This dude is just like all of us. But his son decided to record an argument of his dad yelling at him, and I think he said he was like gonna wring his neck or something, and it's like, yeah, it was a little harsh. But I would think the same way if I overheard my own friend's mom or dad talk to them like that. That's not out of the ordinary. Growing up, my grandma, if I were to record how my grandma, my grandpa, my mom, my family used to talk to us to instill fear in us as a kid, who knows how they would have been perceived. But that's not for anyone else to worry about. I am who I am. I'm a better person because of it. If they didn't instill that type of values and type of discipline in me, I would not be doing what I am doing today. And people always want to just take the victim. They think people are now glorified as being a victim. And so people are racing to make sure everyone else is made out as a bad guy and glorify me. I'm not sure if you guys have watched Game of Thrones or anything, but that's not how things have ever worked. No one cares where you came from. They called the people that had no fathers the bastard children. They just had to find their way, but they were put in certain fractions of the town, the kingdom, certain jobs. No one cared. And people now think that the world cares more because there's internet and there's people that are being put on a stage because they were once victims. But that's not what it's about. We're not trying to see who could be the better victim. Who wins in the end? Once this person's canceled, who wins? Is there a person that gets a prize once a person is demoralized and defeated and maybe questioning the meaning of life because their whole point of reference, whoever they are, is now defiled? They have to live in a world where everyone hates them. Our grandparents, no one ever that has walked this earth had ever had to live in the conditions of the internet and the implications that it has on our lives. There's a reason why a lot of celebrities are now taking a hiatus from social media. I think I've seen Justin Bieber doesn't even carry a phone anymore. He just carries around an iPad because he doesn't want people to be able to check in on him, or he doesn't really care to look at what people are saying anymore. The rapper Logic, he has many interviews saying how crazy just the opinions of people that didn't agree with you and them voicing it thousands and thousands of times is not good for your mental health. Everyone's living their own life adjacent to you. We're all dreamers. We forget that we're all dreamers, living our own lives, and no one will ever know. No one will ever see the world how you see it exactly. My mom, my brothers, my family, all my loved ones will never see the world exactly how I see it, but I don't hate them for it. I'm not going to try to threaten to cancel them. They do what they do because they have their own story. They're their own main character in their own movie. I sit down and wonder, why is it that people care to cancel people so much? Are people's lives that bad that they need to find someone else to place the blame and hate for their situations, for not being where they need to be, for not being where they have the potential to be? No one's ever victimized their way to the top. You might think you're winning, but you're not going to sleep good at night, thinking that you just scammed everyone else into thinking that you're the biggest victim on earth. I'd rather spend my time encouraging people rather than scraping the internet, trying to find people that trigger me and try to threaten to cancel them and try to tell everyone else, like, hey, you see what this dude said? He doesn't even know us, but you guys feel a certain way about this guy? Cancel. In the show Black Mirror, they show how crazy and out of hand cancel culture could get. In the episode Hate It in the Nation that aired 5 years ago, which was a scary foretelling at its time, but it now seems as a reality. It starts off showing this celebrity who was like a journalist or some type of author had this crazy opinion, and she's walking down the street, and everyone, literally everyone she walks past, people who are walking their dog, are literally just yelling at her, cussing at her, telling her she's a horrible human being. She can't even open up the laptop, her phone, without just seeing continuous feeds of everyone threatening. This bakery even went as far as baking a cake for her that said the words, excuse my French, but it said fucking bitch. And she took it on the chin and still ate the cake. But the sad thing was, she did not know what was coming. And with this being in the Black Mirror series, it's set in the future. So in the future in this episode, we've engineered these robotic bees. These bees that are still able to transport pollen back and forth to flowers and trees and make sure that we are still able to live. The company that made these bees were a government-funded type of agency, which just raised some red flags to me for one. And then it continues to show that this database that they have, they could literally build hives. These bees could literally multiply themselves with 3D printing and things like that. And it shows how crazy someone could just design something that's artificial intelligence and it just do its own thing. But what's crazy is that with this cancel culture, someone hacked a bee. Someone hacked a robotic bee to carry out this death to this celebrity that was hated. It literally went into her brain and was pressing on the pain sensors that she literally took her own life. This could be looked at as a metaphor. It could be looked as an exaggerated episode, but I see it has a lot of truth into our current reality. Suicide is up more than it has ever been. The numbers on that is crazy. And the main reason for it is social media and the threat of cancel culture. People are scared to have an opinion. People are scared to put themselves out there because they're like, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to I got to make sure I'm being too inclusive. I got to make sure I'm inclusive enough to speak or risk being canceled, risk being hated online. People care more about others' opinions than their own opinions of themselves. I feel it was my duty to speak on this cancel culture because I don't want to see it get any worse. And back to the Black Mirror episode, there's a scene where a lady who participated in the hate speech of hashtag death to the celebrity at the time, she said, and I quote, "Yeah, sending death threats alone would be crazy, but everyone else was doing it, so I'm not mental." She validated herself sending hateful speech that said literally the words death to, threatening to kill someone, because everyone else was doing it. The mob mentality. Everyone else was doing it. If everyone jumped off a bridge, you're going to jump off a bridge? You're going to jump off a bridge. That's what a lot of people are doing these days. They're like, you know what? Dr. Seuss was insensitive, you know? Now that I think about it, now that I sit here and really think about it, it's like, why? Are you going to sit down and think about it? You have a finite time on this earth. You're going to sit down and think about how Dr. Seuss was insensitive to you before you were even born. Like I said, it's insensitive of us to think that someone is thinking about future norms. I'm not making this episode to instill fear into people. That's never my intent. My intent is always to lift people up and shed light on problems and things that I think that need solutions and try to come up with a solution. Cancel culture is already causing a lot of problems. We'll see even more. I can only imagine who's going to be canceled next, what we're going to see in the news. I'm not looking for it, but these days it just finds you. I ask you, if you follow this podcast, if you follow this channel, to not participate in cancel culture. For one, it's childish. And two, you do not know the mental harm and potential physical harm that you may be inflicting on this person. It may not be by the hands of your own, but you can't assume that everyone else thinks like you. You can't assume that everyone else won't think about actually committing physical harm, going the lengths of actually physically harming someone because of the cancel culture, and they think that they could be the savior. They think that they could be the hero to cancel this person physically. Like I said, remember, the world is populated by billions of dreamers, dreaming their own dream, living their own life. From the main character point of view, that is their only point of view. Everything is all about them. So remember that. Be sensitive and realize that everyone is living their own dream adjacent to you, and they may not know what's going on in your world. Be sensitive, but not too sensitive. Don't be insensitive to people's lives and their own reality. The simple solution, the logical solution, is to not take anything personally. And if you resonate with any of this, leave a comment of how you feel about cancel culture, because I'm very curious. Do you think Dr. Seuss is racist? Did you take time out to see if he's racist? I hope you didn't. And follow the podcast. If you're listening to this, leave a review if this resonated with you guys. I'm excited going forward. Took a little time out to get this to you. I have a lot of things in the works. I had to take some time to get things done behind the scenes, make sure I'm getting things in place and employing people to get you guys more content, more volume, and me not have to do everything, because I know I'm not all about the technical stuff. You got to learn to delegate. But that's it for now. And as always, just know that a belief may be comforting, but only through true experience does it become liberating. Grant yourself permission to level up. And until next time, it's your boy Salem. I'm out.